You can.
Hi there.
Hello, hello.
How do you do?
Doing all right. How are you?
Figuring out how to play the movie.
That's fair.
I set the movie to a premiere, and so now I
Hmm.
can't watch it anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Hmm.
we're gonna watch an older cut of this then.
That's fun. You
Uh,
also uploaded it onto YouTube. Could you theoretically watch the YouTube video?
yes, that is what we are watching.
Okay.
How do I? Oh, okay. Share screen. Uh,
Oh,
Share.
it's thinking. There we go.
Do we have vision?
I have vision.
Okay, wonderful. Let me turn this down so it's not 30. Oh yay!
Yeah,
Antoinette.
exciting stuff.
I'm gonna be an evil host and snack on some stuff as we do this.
This is perfectly reasonable.
I grabbed dinner because I was like, the dining hall's gonna be closed by the time this whole thing is over, and I don't want to eat these lemon pepper wings cold. So,
That's very fair. Yeah.
but anyways, and
Yeah,
first edition, I
which is
was
so exciting.
I was timelining the other day, and I was like, this is like a year-ish in the making, over a year, I
Right.
think.
hmm
Um,
I love the title screen.
hold on, I'm gonna pause this and eject something because
Sure, yeah.
your video is now unsynced with the audio. Okay, now we're back.
Oh, neat.
No, I'm saying like the viewers because now the
Oh.
sound is off. It's also not the same version that's going on the YouTube, so it's all.
Oh.
This is truly just to watch us talk about stuff.
It's limited in
But yeah,
application in
I'm going AirPod
hmm
because uh my laptop's overheating.
Oh, fun.
Anyways, back on track, back on track. This is a
Yeah,
movie. This is a
it
movie.
is.
We are the writers of this movie.
Yeah.
We wrote Paris
hmm
from winter of 2025.
24.
Was it winter 20? Oh my God, it was.
It might have even been 23.
Yeah, I think it might have started in December of 23. Okay, so yeah, this is
Uh-huh. This is a hot minute.
um so we wrote that in 23 and we workshopped it and we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
Um and then around I want to say May of sorry, I love you, but you're a little too loud. I can't hear myself think. And then Tessa told me that they were getting rid of the Jeep, the beautiful lime
true.
Jeep, and I was like, well, I have to do the only thing I know how, which is to make a
Right.
movie
Yeah.
memorializing.
hmm
And then at that point, I was basically sitting on two scripts, and I
Yeah,
was like, go for three.
exactly. Got to have a third to round everything out. And I know this wasn't your favorite, at least for a while, but I don't
I
know.
it weirdly enough, it kind of was my favorite because it was
Okay.
like the easiest to put together because the way that I
Mm,
planned to shoot it and then did shoot it was very just quick and easy. Um,
okay.
like literally while editing, I edited all three movies kind of in their own file, but all at the same
Sure.
time. And this one, I we shot it. I did a rough cut of it, and then I really
hmm
didn't touch it until the premiere was coming up because it was
Okay.
just so well ironed, I feel, from
Yeah.
shot
Yeah.
to shot. Um, but there was some stuff that I was hesitant. I think just that the showing it was
Sure.
the thing where and the same issue that's going to be with the new movie
Right.
of showing it and people clearly having an idea of
Perceptions.
a perception of things that wasn't intended
Sure.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to fill in for a role I didn't want to do.
Right. Yes. And that obviously that's difficult from a lot of different angles, but it was difficult because all of these movies are in their own way romances. So the awkwardness that you felt was very much, you put yourself in a romance.
Yeah, it was definitely that. That was probably why I had like a heartbeat of 150 at the premiere, surrounded by
Hmm.
friends and family showing
Hmm.
off the
Hmm.
new little thing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it came together pretty easily. Like all these things where it's like a shot reverse shot and then it goes to, like a side profile where it pan like that was all planned into the
Yeah.
edit.
Yeah.
So it was quite literally a drag and drop.
That's
Um,
nice.
I'd say the hardest one to edit was probably the second one
Okay.
because at least from like a production view, because it was shot so sparingly. I think
Mm.
there's like 20 setups in it,
Oh,
tops.
interesting.
And making sure that like it still flowed and it didn't bore you too much. Um, and I
And it
could
like
tell,
started raining in the middle
oh
of one of the,
It
yeah.
rained at this like 20 minutes before we had to start, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh God!" And then, as
Right.
per Georgia, it immediately cleared up, and it was sunny
Hmm.
skies. And then we shot for most of the day, and then it was after lunch. We had shot some stuff, and it started raining, and so I had to like plan around what to shoot. And also, I had pushed some stuff for later because I thought we were gonna get it at a certain time, but then
Sure.
the time kind of passed us by, so now I was like, okay, this is now gonna be at nighttime, but I don't want to be at nighttime, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
Right.
So that was, yeah, I guess that in that sense it was a little difficult, but ultimately it was just like, but we had all those problems during production. I could feel like, oh, the intended way this is gonna cut isn't gonna be good. So I literally in between setups, I was like, okay, Blythe and Tessa, sit here and talk for a little bit. We're gonna shoot it. Sit here and talk for a little
Yeah.
bit. We're gonna shoot it. And then thankfully, as we'll see in like 10 minutes, that came with a
Yes.
little montage, which I think is like one of the cutest scenes
Oh,
of the whole thing.
absolutely. I obviously everything ends up working out, and I love what all of this turns into. And I really like the way you edited this. Um, but yeah, no, I think that it is a very lovely for the narrative as well, that in this first third, uh Kasara's character has to, do you want to talk about the frame just in general?
I feel like no one gets it.
I, which is so frustrating because I feel like one, you did really well. Like we went through a number of different iterations
It
of what that should look
was
like.
senior citizen dating Zoom call.
Yes.
It was, I think, something else before that. And then it morphed into this prisoner simulation thing, which I was
Yes.
like, well, it's already kind of a sci-fi, and
Right.
that fills it out. No, no, no. So yeah, I did want to
Yeah.
say it's funny how you were saying you liked how this edited, and I was talking about like how things are shot. No, no, no. That one take that's right before this scene was, I think, the most takes we did for any
Uh-huh.
shot because I was like, I can tell that the first few of these are horrible, and this has to work.
Fair. Fair.
And that was one of the few times where like sticking to it instead of like adapting, I think
Sure.
ultimately paid off
Yeah.
because I was like, we're having these fast cuts in the hallway. It's all this chase. No, no,
Hmm.
no. You need a moment where we literally just sit and breathe. And you
Right.
can't, as much as I wanted to do it in a two shot, you really couldn't, I feel emotionally. You couldn't do like
Sure.
a shot of me and a shot of Ash back and forth
Hmm.
like you normally do. Like this has to be a oneer. So it was a thing of like, at this moment the focus needs to be on so and so, and then this moment the focus needs to be on me. No, 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 and back and forth.
Right. Right.
So that was fun. But then
Yeah.
talking again about the editing of like you can barely see it and I love it, but there's these small dissolves of like Tessa's face in between
Yeah.
things. And that was one
Yeah.
of those things before the premiere where like I literally hadn't had to touch the thing and I was just
Sure.
playing around with it and I'm like, "Oh, this should be fun." So that's why this is from an editing perspective. This is my most favorite one because
Sure. Sure.
it was so easy to put together. It was so much fun to just experiment with it, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved it. Hopefully Kodak comes together.
It will. It will.
But yeah, that
I don't remember the prophecy and then uh I don't even remember what is it called, salt and pepper? Is that just what the characters ended up being called?
that was the characters.
What is the name of the second half third?
Get off.
Oh right. That's why I forgot. Um Obviously you have the three different colorings for the prisoner, for the employee, and then for the boss. Prophecy is very red, especially toward the end, like it's white and then it turns to red. Do the other thirds, I forget at this point, do they also have an obvious color to them?
Um, Get off starts very blue and green
Okay, you're right, you're
because of
right.
like the sky and the car, and then the
Yes.
end is very like amber because it's like
Okay.
those finals. It's you get the sunset, which is blue
Yeah,
and
yeah.
orange, and then the
Hmm.
finale is just full amber basically. So yeah, it goes to
Okay.
orange. And then Paris mostly just stays amber the whole time with some like
That's kind
splotches
of
of
fun.
green and blue in it,
Hmm.
which is really just those are like the natural colors you get in the world.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And it
That's
just
just kind of
became
what things look like.
yeah, and then it just became part of like the color schematic and the marketing and everything. And I there were also some moments where like it's a really good shade of like I really love the green on Kasara's face. There's so many shots
Totally.
where
Totally.
it's just hitting her perfectly and the way it's
Hmm.
like scattering over her skin and you're getting
Yes.
shadow and her
Hmm.
eyes are like they're not your normal like usually when you hit an actor with a like a proper movie light, which we don't have,
Sure. Yeah.
you get a specific type of circle in the eye, but
Right. Yes. Yes.
we used a screenshot on from a movie
Okay.
on a laptop and it creates this sort of
Okay.
like fractal look is the only way I can
Yeah.
describe it.
Yeah.
And I love
Huh.
that. I
That is
love
fun.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting having the different colors end up lining up with how you assigned a color to each of the three characters in the frame. Um, Obviously, you were saying that since those are kind of just the colors of outside, especially in Georgia in I think this is mostly like spring, summer, whenever you shot stuff.
We filmed Get Off in Paris at like the last day of June and the first day of August, or the
Okay.
last day of July and the first day of August. We shot Get Off the end of November, or Prophecy the end of November.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
all this literally in the smack dab of summer,
Hmm.
3 weeks before the premiere.
Yep. Yep. Um,
And no
I
one
wonder,
knows.
yeah, but hey, that's the fun stuff. I wonder if subconsciously you were mirroring the coloration or if now that you're looking back at it, if you would apply any kind of symbolism or anything to it, or is it just this look pretty?
Well, that's the thing where like a lot of scenes do come to me with a color in mind, be it because
Sure,
I know how the location's gonna look, or I
this is
do want
fair.
to like manipulate the image to go like super blue or super red or whatever.
Hmm.
And outside of like one script I've written, it's never been with a like thematic intent.
Sure.
Um, though naturally things in this one specifically, naturally things repeat. And there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a bit of like, oh, we shot this way, let's shoot this way. Like I remember I
yeah,
think when we were prepping for Prophecy, I was like, oh, you should wear red because Blythe wears red. I don't know what that
yeah.
means, but it
But it
made
means
sense.
something.
Yeah. And part of that is also like it's a simulation. And so
This
like
is
you
true.
repeat it's she's a prisoner. She hasn't been outside in
Yeah,
a while. So
yeah,
she's kind of just drawing on stuff that she knows and she might
hmm.
recycle things. But also it's like the
That's
idea of
fair.
like a simulation you repeat the models you have because you don't want to make a new one if you don't need to. Like me
That
and go ahead.
that and all of the simulations happen within a fairly short amount of time
Yeah.
for Kasara's character, such that if she gets a picture in mind of who this character is, why wouldn't she reuse that character? It makes sense.
And yeah, Prophecy is probably the only one that she like planned and then Get Off in Paris are kind of just like a quick little, okay, what do I have? What do I have? What do I have?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, me and Jalen, who's one of the like kind of choir people in Prophecy, she's in the
Okay.
background of Paris too.
Okay.
um During the little gazebo scene. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was fun where I was like, yeah, and I'm also in that scene. So it's like it's reusing
Yeah.
assets and it's there's a scene in The Matrix where they hired twins for this one scene.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so like you'll have a copy over here and a copy over there, and it's because it's like the resistance and they have limited resources, so they're not gonna be
Sure.
they have to
Sure.
fill it to make it look real, but they're
Yeah.
not gonna be like doing a brand new model for everyone. So it's kind of that
Exactly.
mentality.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of fun. Yeah. I like that. It's also that obviously you wanted to work with Tessa pretty extensively, and I
Well,
don't
yes
I
and no.
okay, go into that.
I love Tessa. She's the light of my she's amazing. But
Tessa's a delight.
it was truly I need two girl leads for Paris who I can trust, and Tessa
This
was
is
one of
fair.
them. And
This
then
is fair.
it's Tessa's car and it's and Get Off is Tessa's movie because that's the one that's like
Yes.
literally just like remember the Jeep. No one forget the Jeep.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And then again it
Exactly.
was just Prophecy is kind of the unwanted child. It was like we have to put Tessa in this one too. But I was literally going through just like the raw footage the other day,
Hmm.
and I know that I'm under a lot of stress. Sure,
Sure.
it's a one-man show against the world. I'm running to get things done within barely 6 hours that most people have
Right.
like 2 days to do. But I was like, I literally afterwards I texted Tessa and I'm like, I know this is too late, but I'm sorry for putting you through the movies. Because I feel genuinely evil looking back. Well, like, I'm not even being mean. I'm not being all like I'm being flippant, sure. I'm being a little bossy and
Sure.
sassy,
Sure.
whatever. I'm not being the evil that many movies produce, but at the same time, I'm like, this feels horrible.
This feels bad to do to my friend. Yeah. You know, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like, this the Get Off in particular is such a classic rom-com kind of plot that it doesn't feel stereotypical or anything, but it feels familiar. So I don't know. I feel like this is the an easy one if this was your main idea of where you wanted Tessa to be.
yeah,
You know,
it, it is. A lot of people said it was their favorite of the three, which I knew was going to happen,
totally.
um,
Yeah,
because of the clientele who went to the premiere
sure.
and the surrounding content. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I just think that it is intentionally the most simplistic one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to me, I don't want this. I don't like the most simplistic one. But I was like, you need a palate cleanser. You need your middle thing that kind of bridges of
And
extreme to
that
extreme. Because
that
this was
kind of
originally called like
goes,
the spectrum or something. So like it was already
yes.
that thing of
Yeah. And you were originally going to start out with Paris and then do Get Off and then do Prophecy at the end. And whenever the idea was to have the frame be like two like senior citizens on a date, that like the suggestion was that it was not going well for the future of the relationship. So that the flipping, you're like, I want things to end on like a happy note. I'm like,
yeah. Because I already knew that I feel like a lot of elements are already like not blasphemous, but like it's not the most crowd pleaser. It's fairly slow. It's a very just like lethargic look at relationships and love. And I know I can already be, I guess, a little misanthropic with how I film and write things. So I was like, I feel like the audience is owed a happy ending. And going from like two girls on the run to a
mm-hmm.
relationship where you don't even really get to see the climax of to
Right,
and
yeah,
then they don't love each other. It's
yeah.
just like are you having fun? Are you having fun yet? And
Exactly. Yes.
that wasn't it. That wasn't this movie. The movie is about love, and it's about, at the end of the day, there is hope and
Yeah,
beauty, and it's nice to have someone in your life. And
absolutely.
then
Absolutely.
they
Hmm.
wrote the new one, and
Hmm.
clearly my thoughts have changed.
I wouldn't say they've necessarily changed. I just think that you have seen um that perhaps hope is not the only thing you need.
Literally, yeah. No, that is basically what the movie is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hope is a necessary component of change, but it is not the only thing that causes it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what a fun time. I'm just looking forward to like in 2 or 3 years splicing these into like cuts to the movie, and it's just the character getting the worst day of his life and
Which one? All
spoilers.
of them.
Uh, but that was one fun feedback at the premiere was it was like the characters are lit too darkly, and I went,
Mm,
yeah. They're like, Prisara and Lindsay and Chris are all, they're hard to see. Correct. Because they live in reality. And one of them lives in prison, and one of them, it's implied, lives in the basement. So,
yeah, which is a kind of prison. If you have to live at your job,
yeah.
you know.
And like Chris's section is exposed in a sense where like you actually see the surroundings.
Yes.
He has a chair, guys.
Yeah,
That's how
right?
that's how high he's
Right?
living in society.
Exactly. He has a desk and
Yeah,
talks about going on vacation.
extensively. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I love
That was
Hannah
fun.
as
Oh
the
my God.
as Big Tony.
Oh my God. Possibly my favorite thing of this.
It's so good,
I love this.
especially in the bloopers.
Oh, yeah, the bloopers are great. Paris is my child that everyone doesn't care about, who I think deserves to be on every podium.
Yes, exactly.
I think it is the best written thing of my life, and everyone else just kind of goes, okay.
I think it's a delight. I absolutely love Paris, so I understand wanting to put her on the podiums. Um, I don't know. I don't. Do you think that it is mainly a audience preference as to why people don't necessarily see Paris as the crown jewel, or do
I
you
think
think that
because it's
there's
it's very much written. It is the ultimate culmination of what I want to do as a filmmaker, which is make movies for 15-year-old me who would watch in the theater and go, "Oh, I want to make movies. Yay."
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it plays to very specific things I like. It's like
sure.
it's westerns, but not
Hmm.
really. It's
Right.
sci-fi, but not really. It's use your imagination for this. Not necessarily
Hmm.
because we don't have the budget, but because that's how we want to do it.
Sure. Yeah,
And I love it for that. But I feel like a lot of
yeah.
people are just like, okay, yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. And I feel I had a vision of the $50 million version of this where like we have the military come in and we
Okay.
build a
Hmm.
restaurant in the desert, and
Yeah.
we shoot
Hmm.
it at the perfect dusk, and it's whoa wow. But I feel like that makes it more easy to wash away, kind of. It just kind of becomes, not that I don't want to do something like that one day, but I just feel like
Sure, sure.
this specifically, it's very fun that a lot of it is in a room and the world is happening outside,
Yeah.
and it's impacting everyone in there, which I feel like the more and more we do, that kind of becomes a through line where, you know, there are two or three people who the world revolves around for this story, but in
Right.
their world, they are a number
Yeah.
and they don't really matter.
Yeah.
I
And
think,
that is realistic in its own way, that it adds. a realism to an otherwise unfamiliar hi half of Preston's hair. Um, it adds a realism that is otherwise not necessarily, a required part of a sci-fi story, of a Western story that, it's fun.
Yeah. I think this scene is probably one where it's why I like it more than a lot of people like it because I feel like there is a I guess the only way to put it is like it's an in joke in a sense where like it's a feeling that not everyone in the audience will relate to unless you're from a certain group or you think you're very in a very specific way of thinking.
Sure.
Like not even like two girls fall in love. I feel like it's genuinely just a thing where like there are certain people who you will be in a place and you realize you're the outsider. And I think
Right, right,
not everyone, especially in, you know, south of Atlanta, Georgia, feels that way.
right, sure. And that's totally fair. It also, and this is not a dig in any way because I like Wes Anderson, but the this shot specifically of Brenna and Tessa looking at each other and the handhold and then the let go feels very Wes Anderson of here is an entire story told in images. Do
Yeah,
with it what you want.
I love that.
Yeah, because that's I mean, obviously it's effective and it's effective here, but it's also something that even if you are not in one of those groups, in uh, used to feeling like an outsider, not used to feeling like you are perhaps rejected due to being an outsider, it's still, oh, I know what happened. And so even if you can't fully relate on a personal level, I think there's still the very obvious storytelling going on there. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I would fully agree that it's unrelatable to people.
Fair, fair, fair. That is the thing that I do love where there's this one quote where someone's talking about some movie or show that they made and they're basically like on a talk show and they're like talk about it, what did you intend, what did you feel, and they basically boil down to like, well, if I could tell you I wouldn't be showing you, there is some
Yeah.
stuff where you can't like turn it into some academic paper about why this is this
Yes.
way. It's just like
Yeah.
this is what happens and I know how I feel about it, but you have to find out how you feel about it.
Whenever you were writing Paris, um, I think you had either just read or just watched Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang slash Arrival.
I had just read it
Um,
for the first time. Yeah, yeah,
okay. And so obviously that's not that you can see the DNA if you know that that's what, was in your mind, but that's not like the main thing. Um, I feel like that's another one of those stories where you can tell a lot of what was being said, but you don't ever have to come out and say it because how do you explain?
yeah. Yeah.
There's something ineffable about meeting the unknown, about being in love, about falling in love and being vulnerable in a way that might not be safe.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's almost why Paris is my favorite of all the other ones, because either it's a very by the book story, like Get Off is, or like
Sure.
Prophecy is hitting on a lot of stuff, but I feel like it's not interrogating it all that much.
Right.
Its central conceit is if you go out of your way to avoid something, it's gonna end up finding you. But I feel like its
Sure.
stronger stuff is how like people are assumed to be an in-group. If they have similar
Right.
qualities, if they have a similar demographic, it's that thing of like,
Yeah.
oh, you're from Hawaii? Do you know this other Hawaiian person I know who
Sure.
lives three
Sure.
cities away and you've never even heard of?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
I feel like that's the point of it, really, but it's never like dived into because the point of the story is the emptiness that you feel at the end of that's it, you know? The end happens 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that is the character's first draft of falling in love. And if you had to throw together something to save your life, to save your skin, to, no longer be in prison, you wouldn't show anything that's vulnerable. You would be very in control of the narrative, and you would just want to show, like, you guys screwed me over. And that makes sense,
Yeah,
both for what prophecy itself is trying to say and narratively for the rest of the arc.
good stuff. I will say one of the main things missing from the updated version is all the stories have little curved edges to the frame,
Okay,
which I feel helps them feel like a vignette more. It's a very small
that's fair.
thing, but that's
Yeah.
kind of the only, everything else is just kind of like rearranging a few shots, and it's not that much of a difference. And that is my hand. That is my hand.
Oh,
That
there you
was
go.
shot 2 days before the premiere, I think, maybe even one.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
and I do love it because it's weirdly seamless. This final scene though, I shot it without knowing how the story was gonna end. Like I was like, I had
Oh,
written it
interesting.
obviously, but I
Hmm.
genuinely hadn't been like, oh, I guess they just he says yes and the story's over. Like I guess in my head I was like, and then there's another story afterwards, maybe? I don't know. Um,
I think that's also both natural as, like, how do I end this thing? But also, if you have created a world where there are characters that have their own inner lives and everything, they will be doing things that don't necessarily involve you. So I don't know what happens next.
Yeah, but it was like I didn't realize that I needed to cut in a way where Lindsay is waiting for a response, and that was a fun thing to kind of figure
Sure.
out. And then I didn't realize that the final shot is just gonna be Lindsay smirking of like, yeah, I guess you figured out the lesson, you fool. And then it's just
Yeah.
over. And I feel like the new one, the one we're currently working on, it's a very much and then it's over, but not as much fun. It's not as hopeful. It's very similar, but it's weirdly a lot more dark.
Again, because hope is not the only thing that can fix a broken situation, but also because at the end of the day in Kodak Jacket, there's it's not a mic drop, it's much quieter than that. But the last, like, scene is very definitely not the characters looking into the camera and saying, like, you're an idiot, but they're looking at each other and saying, the world that we have made is irredeemable, and you didn't think it was?
It's
Weird.
more the creator saying that, I feel. I feel like it's the writer, it's the storyteller being it's not the characters looking at the audience going, "You idiot." It's the author going to the characters, "You idiot. You thought you thought there was hope, you fool, and you didn't put any effort
Right?
in."
Which is why, if the budget was unlimited and this was, the $50 million version, I feel like it's one of those shots that would end with, like, the slow zoom out to see, like, the whole of campus or something.
Oh, well, we can't do
Yep.
campus, but it
Yeah.
is a big basically dolly back
Yeah.
where as it keeps going you realize, "Oh, they're alone. Oh, they're alone. Oh, they're alone.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're alone. Oh,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
alone. Oh, they're alone."
They're alone and it's empty because so is
I love how half of
so is a
this was
lot
just
of
talking
things.
about a different movie that hasn't even been filmed yet.
Well, you know.
We didn't talk. Isaiah did a great score.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
I remember we were in the middle of production and we were figuring out who to
Hmm.
cast for the prisoner and everything. And I went, "Oh, it can be Lindsay and Tessara." And now I have an
Yeah,
excuse to put Lindsay and Tessara in the movie. I get to
exactly.
work with Lindsay and Tessara, my loves, my dears.
Hmm.
Um, Other stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we had a blast. I
Um,
was looking at, as I said, I was looking at the raw footage the other day, and I was like, this is also the point where I get to look back at stuff I made with friends
exactly. Yeah.
and smile that we did stupid stuff and we kind of just sat there and figured it out. There's clips of me just like setting up the shot and little mumblings, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah,
I got all emotional. I sent stuff to friends, and I was like, oh, I miss you guys, love you guys.
right. I feel like you talked about Prince and Bin. I feel like that's part of what you also you mentioned earlier that like you wanted to make a movie that like 15-year-old you would sit in the audience and go, I can do that. Um, Getting to work with your friends and everything feels very much like that, that it is a, I don't know, it's a family production kind of thing in a way. That
Yeah.
here's all my plans, aren't they cool?
Yeah, they
They
are. I
are.
genuinely,
Yeah.
the not to be, hillbilly who goes into the city, but the more I go out and meet other people who are like specifically interested in film or acting, it's like I really lucked out because some of my best friends in my formative years are like genuinely talented. And because we're friends, I know where their like strengths and weaknesses are, so I can push up and bring down, everything that needs to be. So I think it
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel way too lucky for that. Because who else gets to say that their best friends are really good and they win? There were so many times, and my heart broke where there
Hmm.
was a small little thing of, oh, I'm not doing this for so and so, I'm doing this to help Roman. And I'm just
Right.
like, I don't deserve this.
It is very easy to feel that way as well. That anytime somebody who you feel is like very talented and lovely is like, oh yeah, I want to help you in particular. It's like, what?
Are you sure? You talking about me?
Right? Because they also think you're talented and lovely. So, it's,
Apparently, people think that.
yeah.
People
Mm-hmm.
have been
Mm-hmm.
texting Lindsay and others and whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I think I saw your friend's thing. I think I saw you in a video on your friend's thing. Do they need help with the new movie? We have reach now.
We have
We are
reached.
known
We
outside the
know.
world.
That's so exciting.
That's
And
so
the answer is
scary."
yes, you probably would like help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, fun little reveal. I am going to be in the movie, and I may have written in the new movie. I may have written a small role to do for myself because it was small, and I was
Sure,
like, I want
sure.
to do this role because it's a very
Yeah.
specific role, and I know I can do it.
Hmm.
And then fate said, but what if you were a different role, which was the lead role,
Right.
and now you're in every shot, and now you can't operate every frame, and you have to
Hmm.
trust other people.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's not the
Which
note we
you've
should leave
done
this off on,
before.
which I have done before. And again, Prophecy was a very easy to put together movie.
It was. And, it is something that if you are, depending on what in particular you are interested in doing in the future with movies, will be something you will have to do just because you might not always be the director. You might
True.
not always be the camera person. You might, in fact, have to surrender this much creative freedom to
I will
someone
tell
else's
you, I
whims.
think the last year, the idea of working for someone on a film set has become a lot more enticing than being the boss on a film set. And it's truly just
Hmm.
because I like being there,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people who can do my job better than me, or it's not a question of better or worse, it's just they can do it, and I'm happy helping where I can. I did photography for multiple student sets in the
yeah,
last year, and
yeah.
that's some of the most fun I have because people are the most
It's
grateful of
it's
it, and it's
it's
the
really
easiest
fun
job.
being an extra
Yeah,
effectively
yeah.
and not being the main person that everybody's asking 1,000 questions of.
It's great not being the center of attention.
Absolutely.
As someone who's
Absolutely.
trying to make stuff to be the center of attention, it's nice not being the center of
Right.
attention.
Right. People think creative people want to be in front of the camera, and the real answer is that please get me behind it. I'm
I don't want to be
scared.
famous.
Mm-mm.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Standing outside a Broadway show and there is a mob of people wanting a signature. That's scary.
Seeing a random person while you're like in a drive-through and they're like, OMG, you. No,
And those are
here's
people
my
I
Taco
know.
Bell. Yeah.
I get freaked out when people I know say hi to me. Let
Yeah,
alone a stranger
exactly.
who's seen me on